This is Lily, also known as Superwoman on YouTube, and as a member of the female sex, she experiences her period on a monthly basis.
You see, the first time I got my period, I had no idea what was going on. I walked into the washroom, took down my underwear, and I was like, what is this? Because I never got the talk, so I was so concerned and like my mind was racing. Did I fall off my bike earlier today? Because I have no idea what was going on. And I'm pretty sure most girls go through that denial phase where it's like roadkill. It's like you hate it, but you can't look away. So I was just like, I'm dying. I am dying.
What you may or may not realize is that every single time a woman has her period, it's because her body was preparing to get pregnant and have a child. You know, the act that perpetuates our entire species. Yes, every single month, the female body goes through an incredibly complex and fascinating transformation called the menstrual cycle. It all starts in the ovaries, which each contain over 100,000 eggs. Once a month, one egg will release, which spends roughly 3 days making its way to the uterus. And while it's making its way there, the uterus begins to create a lining which is rich in nutrients and everything essential to begin life. Under the right circumstances, a sperm will fertilize the egg and begin pregnancy in the womb. Before this, however, female ovaries increase production of the hormones estrogen and progesterone, and these hormones promote and maintain the special lining of the uterus. But the hormones also enter the bloodstream and travel throughout the body, including your brain. It's here that estrogen and progesterone are thought to interfere with other chemical messengers in the brain called neurotransmitters, and this can lead to the notorious premenstrual syndrome, or PMS, in women.
More like, period, my, sucks. Science. So there's a whole bunch of chemicals in my brain and they're all out of whack, messing with my mind every single month. I mean, science is messing with my conscience. I'm irritable and anxious and I haven't even started my period yet.
Which brings up an important point. PMS is not the same thing as your period, which is perhaps one of the biggest myths out there. It actually happens 7 to 14 days before a girl even shows signs of bleeding. This is because estrogen and progesterone levels peak during the creation of the uterine lining. Roughly 50 to 80% of women have experienced some degree of physical or psychological PMS symptoms. But many aren't even aware that PMS can occur so much earlier than the period, as contemporary culture perpetuates the myth that it's menstruation or the period itself that causes these hormonal changes. PMS can manifest itself as psychological symptoms such as mood changes,
I hate you so much, but you're kinda cute at the same time, but I wanna kill you.
anger, crying, and irritability.
It's fine, 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 it's fine.
Or as physical symptoms such as upset stomach, difficulty sleeping, and even nausea. One woman's PMS is not like the other, which is why health professionals have trouble finding a clear understanding of how it all works. Other physical changes take place as well. The amygdala in the brain, which controls emotion, increases its activity. We also see lower levels of the feel-good chemical serotonin and the neurotransmitter GABA, which has anti-anxiety effects, meaning stress and anxiety run high.
Oh, okay, so you're wondering why I feel this way when all this stuff is happening in my body? Because I can become a hot mess and I cannot control it. It's like, I want to make out with you, but I also don't want you to touch me. Because like you're good looking and stuff, but I also hate you. And I want lots of chocolate. And here I am thinking maybe I'm just having a bad day or I'm being crazy because it's not happening at the same time as my period. But no, it could have just been PMS.
But when menstruation or the period begins, these hormone levels drop sharply. After no fertilization occurs, estrogen and progesterone levels drop and the body realizes it just ain't happening. As a result, it begins to literally shed the layer it had created for a potential fetus. And this shedding of the membrane and mucus has nowhere to go but out, which of course has its pitfalls as well.
But this is when the really fun part starts. Because although there's not the same amount of hormones raging around in my brain, now I get to push an unused membrane, mucus, and blood out of my system. It's honestly a lot of fun because it causes cramping and bloating and the wonderful condition of wanting to poop but not being able to.
Of course, when it ends, the cycle gets to start all over again. A cycle which is essential for the perpetuation of our species.
So if I'm having an off day, dude, just know I'm doing it for humanity. Because there's only a few consistent cycles in the universe. The sun rises and sets, tides come in and out, and my menstruation. So appreciate. That's right, women are awesome, okay? We'll be here signing autographs all night.
Seriously, without the persistent nature of the menstruation cycle, our very existence as a species would be completely altered. So while changes in mood may be a byproduct of this incredible event, we wager it's all worth it. So thank you, women, for being strong enough to put up with PMS and menstruation. We owe you for this one. Be sure to check out the amazing Lily's YouTube channel, iiSuperwomanii, for more hilarious videos. Seriously, she is one of the funniest people on YouTube. We'll put a link in the description below. And subscribe for more weekly science videos.
No, but for real though, like, you can get pretty crazy when you're on your period. If you don't believe me, this is actually a self-portrait I did while I was on my period.
Nice.